Yeah, absolutely, Frank. It's a beautiful night. Actually, the sunset is off to my left. But it's a beautiful sky tonight. Looks really nice. So much nicer having this sunlight till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night as opposed to the winter time. We fall into that winter funk. It's pitch black out at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. RGMB. How you doing, stranger? Yeah, it is a really nice night, thankfully. Nice night for a long drive, obviously. Making my way home. Yes, sir. Starting tomorrow, I'm back to a semi-regular schedule, so I will definitely be in touch at some point tomorrow, and we'll talk. We have to set up that schedule for sure. K, what's up, brother? Yeah, well, you got to remember, you guys in the UK, you do everything backwards, right? You guys drive on the wrong side of the road. You have your steering wheel on the wrong side of the car. You have everything flipped. Exactly, brother. That's the age-old question. The age-old question we'll never know the answer to. We're going to debate it for as long as we're here. What are you doing up? Are you a night owl? It's almost 1 a.m. over there by you, right? Well, that's good if you got a little shut-eye prior to that. Yeah, I get those nights once in a while. I'm actually on a relatively good sleeping schedule, but I do get those nights once in a while where I wake up and no matter what, I can't go back to sleep. And now we have it too easy, right? And I'm guilty of it, just like everybody else. The first thing you do is you reach for that phone. I had a bad habit back in the day. I mean, I don't watch TV anymore, but I had a really bad habit of just, falling asleep with the TV on, and I would leave the TV on all night long. I would do that really, really often. But again, now it's just, your phone is laying right next to you. And you have those nights where you can't get back to sleep. What do we do? The first inclination is grab that phone and start scrolling. Technology is definitely a blessing and a curse, that's for sure. Yeah, DK, I was hatched a little before that, back in '63. So I've even seen a little bit more of the evolution throughout the years. It really is amazing, though. It's really hard to fathom how far things have come. And it seems like, a long time, but if you look at the big picture, it's really just a blip. And how far things have come technology-wise in just that time. It's unbelievable. I mean, just the fact, think about it. Think about it. Here I am driving on a New Jersey Turnpike, and you're over on your phone in the UK, and we're talking to each other in real time. I mean, just the idea that back in the day, if you told that to somebody, that was real Star Trek shit. Something that you could never fathom. You could talk about it, but you would never thought that would become a reality. Great minds think alike, DK. If we ever meet up, you owe me a beer. DK, I'm actually headed home. Like I said, I live in New Jersey. I live in the northern part of New Jersey, and my daughter lives down closer to the southern part of New Jersey. And today was my grandson's first birthday, so they had a little get together for him. So I was down there, and I'm actually just taking a ride home now. DK, I'm sorry, I think I might have just cut out there, but I was answering your question. I'm actually headed home now, to the northern part of New Jersey. I was down at my daughter's house. She lives in the southern part of the state. I had a little family get together for my grandson's first birthday today, so. Old school's in the house. What's up, brother? Yeah, it is all good, DK. It's great. Nothing like it. Like I said, my grandson was a year old today, and I spend quite a bit of time. I spend 2 or 3 days a week down at my daughter's house, babysitting with my grandson. My daughter and her husband both work full-time jobs, so I go down and help out. The last thing we wanted to, they wanted to do, and I know I didn't, I was dead set against it, even with my kids, was putting them in daycare. So we do what we can, you know what I mean, just to make things work. All right, old school, you getting it in. Good for you, brother. Good. I'm driving home now. I'm toying with the idea of getting something in tonight when I get home, down in the garage. I didn't do anything today. It was an off day. I had a pretty good week, though. I hit a workout most of the days, so I felt pretty good. But I'll see how I feel when I get home. Maybe I'll do a couple sets. Oh, DK, it's funny you say that. I started doing a handstand a while back, and I would hit one sporadically. I never got to the point where I could just do it, on command. I'd have to try quite a few times. And to be honest, for the most part, I'm doing them, near the wall, near enough where I could use it as a crutch. And I said to myself last week, I'm going to commit to doing it. So actually, the past few nights, you know what happened? I was actually, to be honest with you, I was away. I spent a few days down in Florida, and I was at the hotel gym, and there was a guy in the gym, and he started doing some handstands, and we struck up a conversation, and it all came down to the word consistency. And he said, he was pretty much self-taught, but he said, I just did it every day. I committed to a half hour a day, and I just kept doing it until you finally, you'll find your balance point, and all of a sudden it'll click. So, my intention now is, like I said, I promised myself that I was going to do it, and finally get it nailed down, to where I could hold one for a reasonable amount of time. And again, not just catch it by luck, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. No, and that you make a very good point, DK. No, they don't. And it's funny too there, because my grandson just started last month. He just hit about 11 months, and the first day he got up, and he took about, I actually have it on video, he took about 4 or 5 decent steps. And that was the first time that he did that. And I tell you, within 4 or 5 days after that, he was up and running. Up and running. You know what I mean? And once they find their stride, you know, they're off to the races. And yeah, it's a good point. You know, you got to keep trying. And even with the, like I said, you know, it's a weird feeling because those few times that I actually did catch those handstands, the minute I went up, I knew it. You know what I mean? I just hit that balance point, and I'm like, this is it. You know what I mean? And I even tried not to get overly excited. I said, oh shit, I think I found it. And I felt like I could stay up there. And I was there for quite a while, you know? But yeah, but then, you know, I would do that and then not train it for a month, you know what I mean? Or weeks, or, you know, so, and it doesn't make sense. But yeah. So again, you know, as much as I you know, preach to everybody about consistency, you know, I can't just talk the talk. I got to walk the walk when it comes to that. DK, how far along are you with them? I mean, can you catch them with any regularity, or you just starting off with it? And let me ask you, are you using parallettes, or are you going flat on the floor? Or a combination of both? Old school, if you're still there, what are you hitting tonight? All right, old school, a little bit of everything. That works. That works. So DK, you're doing a negative. So you're catching a handstand and then just coming down. Are you using the wall at all to do the pushes, or are you just doing everything in a free handstand? So one more question, DK. I see a lot of people, and I do them myself. When I do a shoulder workout, I'll do the handstand push-ups against the wall. But I'm always doing them back to wall, with my back to the wall. And there's always somebody with different advice. And I saw it, I think it was on Instagram. I saw a guy, stop doing it with your back to the wall. It's the wrong way. And he was doing them chest to wall. So do you have a preference? What's your take on it? How are you doing it? Okay. Yeah, when I do them, that's exactly how I do them. But like I said, and I had never seen anyone suggest doing them chest to wall. It was the first time I saw it. Like I said, I think it was a short clip on Instagram. George, what's up, brother? What's going on? Thankfully, we're moving pretty good tonight, George. A little bit of traffic on the road, but we're moving at a pretty good pace. Thanks, DK. Appreciate you popping in. You stay well too, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a good night. Get a little bit of rest anyway. Have a good day tomorrow. Good, George. I'm just headed north. I'm actually headed back home. I had to make a trip down to my daughter's today for my grandson's first birthday party. So I'm making my way back north. Today was actually an off day, no workout. So I'm contemplating, we'll see how I feel when I get home. I might hit a couple of sets down the garage. If not, I'll just chalk it up as a rest day and get up early tomorrow and do something. Yeah, thanks, George. It was nice. Just a small gathering, a couple of, some close family and a couple of friends. But yeah, he's a year old already. As if I needed it. Just another reminder of how time flies. Yeah, George, as much as we like to work, it's those rest days do come in handy because you come back better and stronger after them for the most part. Yeah, I owe them too. I didn't get to it today. As a matter of fact, you know what? Thanks for reminding me because I'm going to do that. If I do nothing else when I get home, I will do those 25 push-ups. Actually, they did 25 burpees for me. Thanks to my friend Aldo, who just entered the building. What's up, brother Aldo? Good, everything was good. I'm on my way home now. Nice little get together. Everything went good. Making my way back north now. All right, brother. Okay, I forgot. All right, 75 push-ups. I got 75 push-ups and 25 burpees. That's my workout for tonight, George. And I'm gonna record that and send it to the bros in the group chat. 75 push-ups, 25 burpees. Fair enough. I wrote that check this morning. I got to cash it as soon as I get home. Aldo, you just getting done? What time did you start up? You started early today, right? Two to 7. That's a pretty long session, no? Okay. So George, if you're still there, let me pose this question to you. If you were getting a tattoo and something detailed, you know what I mean? Something that was going to be some work, say part of a sleeve, or not just your name or somebody's name on your shoulder. Real detailed tattoo work. And the tattoo artist asked you if they could stream the tattoo session on YouTube live. Would you have an issue with that? Let me have your opinion on that, George. Yeah, George, it can't be a girlfriend's name and it can't be a cartoon character. It's got to be some serious work. So you'd be okay with it? Yeah, you know what, Aldo? I knew when I asked him the question, I pretty much had it answered in my mind. I said, there's no doubt he's going to be good with it. Yeah, no, you never want to do that, George. That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake, because at some point in your future, there's going to be some cover-up work being done for sure. For sure. But anyway, the reason why I ask is Aldo and I have been talking, and I think it's a great idea for Aldo to live stream his work. I think it would be real interesting. I know, and I'm saying it because I know I'd be the first guy watching. I'd be on there watching it, and I think a lot of other people would be interested in it. But, he's posed a question to a few people, and people are reluctant to do it for some reason. Aldo, you asked today, or you forgot to ask today? Well, Gio, hold on, my friend, because I got the guy for you. Because when Aldo makes his trip to New York, he already assured me he's bringing his tools. Oh, you forgot to ask. Okay. Well, Frankie, I kind of knew that too. I knew of all people, you and George would be on the top of the list. That would be good with it, for sure. I mean, I have to be honest. I don't see people's reluctance to, and especially, Aldo and I had the conversation. If he was doing, he does a lot of sleeves on people's arms, so you could position a camera where you wouldn't even have the person in the shot. It would just be their whatever, their leg, their arm, whatever he was working on. And if they didn't want to be even heard on the live stream, he could mute it. And it would just show him actually doing his work. George, for sure, brother, we got to get together this summer. Now that the weather broke, we got some good daylight. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not like it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon anymore. Days are getting longer, so we'll definitely get together. We'll hit a park or something, get a nice workout in. Yeah, you're right, Frank. There's no such thing as a reality show. All of these people, it's all contrived. And they do reshoots. They tell them what to do. They tell them what to say. They tell them where to stand. There's nothing real about any of that stuff on TV. none of those shows, they're all contrived. You're right, they have writers, and these people are coached. They do retakes on scenes, and instead of saying this, say that, stand over here, stand over there, don't do this, do that. There's nothing, true reality is, if somebody set up a hidden camera, and you had no idea that you were being watched, that would be true reality. But people play it up for the camera. It's only natural. If you know there's a camera on you, your reactions aren't going to be what your normal reactions would be, and just in general, you wouldn't be acting like you would be. You're going to play it up. Some time back, I actually used to watch the one with the alligators. I think it was Swamp People or something. Swamp People, I think, or something like that. Where they used to shoot the alligators. And I was reading something on that. How even that was staged a lot of times. Because they would come up on these alligators and they'd have them trapped, or they'd have them on the line. And they would basically just pull up in a boat, and shoot them. And if it didn't look, exciting enough, they would actually, they would make them go back and do it again. And they're actually just shooting a dead alligator now. They're pretending that they're on the boat and they're scared and that the alligator's getting out of hand. And they're taking all these reaction shots. And what they have on the end of the line is already a dead alligator. But they just want it to look, Yeah, it is. It's all staged. You know what, George? We're to the point where life is staged. Not even TV, right? It's like we are living in the Matrix. What's real and what's not. Yeah, you got to keep people watching, George. That's what it is. Got to keep them watching. Yeah, you love animals, Frank. I mean, we all do, but the alligators, I don't know. Alligators are kind of hard to have a soft spot for, to be honest with you. But I guess when you think about it, But apparently there's big money in them. But it's all regulated. I mean, not that I know firsthand, but from watching that show, there was a certain hunting season for them, and you can only hunt so many of them. I'm sure they're plentiful down there, though. Like, I don't think they're in any danger of being extinct down in Louisiana and Florida and all those marshlands. Yeah, no doubt, George. Like I said, it's not that, alligators are soft and cuddly and it's hard to have a soft spot for them, but They are part of the ecosystem. They do serve a purpose. They're there for a reason, you know. But, you know, it just goes back to our arrogance and ignorance that we think we know better than nature, you know. We think that we have the ability to balance nature. And it really is just, it is such it's an incredible display of just arrogance and ignorance. And it's going to be our downfall. Without a doubt, it's going to be our downfall. Yeah, that's a good point, George, in a sense, yeah. Aldo, for real? I never heard of that. I never heard of gator sausage. I never heard of it. Wow, I never had that, George. I mean, I eat meat, so I don't see, you know, I couldn't be opposed to eating that. I mean, I guess I would try it. All right, brother, I'll be in touch. Go enjoy your dinner, get some rest. Have a good night. I'm going to get those 75 pushes and 25 burpees in as soon as I get home. I'll get a hold of you tomorrow, brother. Have a good night, okay? Wow, that is 48 grams. Is that a lean type of meat, George, or is that a fatty meat? I'm guessing lean. That is a good amount of protein. Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense then. Well, yeah, the tail. That makes sense. George, you got me on that one. I haven't read anything about floods in Dubai. Floods in Dubai, I mean, that's built on a desert, isn't it? Isn't that all? Or do I have that wrong? I mean, that's all that water's got to be piped in over there, doesn't it? I haven't heard anything about floods in Dubai though. Well, I don't think that's far-fetched, George. And I think it's true. I wouldn't be shocked at all if that is the truth. Because they're definitely doing stuff. They're definitely doing stuff up in the atmosphere, spreading all sorts of chemicals. And again, that's one of those topics where if you say that, I think the majority of people are going to call you like a whack job, a quack, a conspiracy theorist. But I think that whole scenario, if that's, I'll look into it. But I believe it. I believe it's within the realm of possibility for sure. Yeah, of course they think it's not true, George, because it's so far out of their realm of comprehension. You know what I mean? So again, it's a combination of arrogance and ignorance. You know, people are complacent. You know, they revel in their own ignorance. You know, their only answer to things is that can't happen. You know, if you bring up what you believe is a valid point, their only answer can be you're crazy. They have no other response. The vast majority of people, unfortunately, don't think for themselves. They like to just be told what to think and how to think. And we all have our confirmation bias, right? So if you think a certain way, and then you hear somebody say something that kind of confirms the way you think or what you think you know, you're going to look at that person as some type of expert, and you'll say, see, you see what I mean? He said it, so I must be right. And then anybody that goes against what you think, again, is a quack or a conspiracy theorist. No. whole idea, George, kind of goes to what I was, excuse me, what I was talking about this morning. I was on live. And I kind of brought up the point that, of how people are just complacent. We have so much information at our disposal now. And it's there, you know what I mean? But you do have to sift through the bullshit and find what you think is the truth. And most people are so reluctant to do it. I say reluctant, what I really mean is lazy. And the gist of my conversation this morning was that, that people are like this when it comes to their health, right? The number one asset on earth, the most important thing to people. So if they're not willing to put the effort into learning how to eat, how to keep themselves healthy, and I talked this morning about how people just go to doctors and whatever the doctor says to them, they take as, they don't question these people. They're human beings. They're fallible human beings. They go to school. They're not omniscient. They don't know everything. So just to look at these people, as if everything they tell you is the absolute truth, and you live your life according to what these people tell you, it really, at the end of the day, it's sad and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You have to think for yourself to some degree. Yeah, so many people do, George. I mean, thankfully, it seems like some people are waking up to it, and realizing that, these clowns on CNN and MSNBC and mainstream media and what you read in the New York Times, go back 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we were talking about reality shows, right? These news channels are they really are. They're akin to a reality show. It's all fake bullshit. It's a narrative. They each have a narrative, and they're pushing a narrative. Somebody's dictating that narrative. And these people are just clowns. They're just puppets. They're told what to say, how to say it. And they say it over and over and over. And people sit in front of their TV and watch it and listen to it. And they believe it. And they will fight you tooth and nail. And again, if these people put credence in what they see and hear on CNN, all of these talking heads, and again, these people, they're not journalists, they're not bringing you any breaking news and doing investigative journalism. They're reading scripts. There are scripts that are written for them. They go on camera, they find good-looking women, you know what I mean? And they have them read it off, and they're told exactly what to say. And there are people that are just complacent, and they just sit and listen to it, and they live their lives according to that. And it's so ingrained in them, if you try to tell them that, no, this might not be the truth, why don't you question it? You're the bad guy. Because God forbid somebody, you prove somebody wrong or show somebody that they're wrong. That you could show them the proof right in front of them, and they'll still swear that you're lying, that they're still right, because they're not going to go back. They're not going to turn around and say, you know what, I was duped. I was wrong. I believed this. I shouldn't have believed it. They would rather stick to their guns and go down swinging, swearing that they were right, and right, George. And it goes back to that saying. It's so much easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they're being fooled or they've been fooled. Generally speaking, George, people are soft. You know what I mean? They're too addicted to the comfort, so much so that they would rather actually have people thinking for them. Summer challenge sounds like a great idea, Frank. I'll have to come up with something on that. Maybe a burpee challenge? Burpee squat challenge? Last summer was the push-pull squat challenge. So maybe we up the ante and we look for maybe a burpee challenge. I think, are you pretty partial to burpees, Frank? You do the Navy SEALs, and don't you do different variations? So it might not be a challenge for somebody like you, but just in general, I think most people don't. They might not be as adept as you are with the burpee. Oh, you're... Oh, okay, Frank, I didn't realize. I never would have thought that. I thought you were more of somewhat of a burpee aficionado. Well, that's it, Frank. That's the idea of a challenge. to make it challenging. Yeah, George, you caught that flag? That flag is huge. I don't know the exact dimensions on it, but it's big. I'm sure you do, George, and that's a very rare thing today, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Burpee pull is a good combination, Frank, for sure. Okay. We'll do it. Burpee pull. Any combination of burpee along with any combination of pull. And I'm guessing it'll have to be 100 a day of each. So every day for 30 days, 100 pulls and 100 burpees. And we'll switch up the variations. Well, just like you said, Frank, it's not a challenge if it's not a challenge.
Not it.
Yeah, George, I've done the rower. Actually, way back in the day, when I first joined the YMCA in the town where I grew up, when it was a legit old-fashioned gym. It really was a good place back in the day with the steam and the sauna. But anyway, they had a rowing machine that I swear it must have been from the turn of the century, the 19th century. And this thing was, it was like sitting in a boat. Like it had the seat and two big oars, two big wooden oars. And that was like a legit rowing machine. Like it was like you were sitting in a big rowboat and rowing. And that was actually the first time I ever used any type of rower. And I used to use that all the time back at that gym. As opposed to, the mechanical ones they have now with the... I've used ones that actually had the water, like in the compartment where the wheel was, and the other ones are really just, it seems like it's just like a big fan, big industrial type fan. Yeah, that was some machine, George. I don't know, like everything else, they probably just wound up throwing it away, but it really was like some piece of machinery. And it probably just wound up on a junk pile, somewhere in a junkyard or something, in a dump. Oh, is it big in Europe? I didn't realize that. You mean like as a sport? Or just in general? I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it really is a great, back and bicep move, but you also have the endurance factor. The cardio factor. Yeah, I never did the kayak. I have a good friend of mine that I worked with, and He actually lives down the Jersey Shore, so he's been a big kayaker for years. He drives around with that thing and, strapped to his truck all the time. He'll go out he'll get his coffee and then just go out on the water and in the early morning and watch the sunrise and things like that. Yeah, actually, that's pretty much the way he describes it, George. He does it often, like I said, and he's used that term. He said it's just so peaceful to go out there in the morning by yourself and just relax. And he got me thinking, and of course, I started weighing my options. Maybe I was asking him for some advice on, a beginner kayak, like if I was to get one. But then I thought the better of it. As much as I would like to do it, I tried to be practical and say, and where I live, there's no shortage of lakes. There's lakes all over up here in North Jersey, but I tried to be practical and say, even if I get this thing, how often am I going to use it? And I decided against it. No, I don't really swim, George. Basically, I just go to a pool and just wallow around like a manatee. Yeah, as a kid, George, I loved the water. There was a public pool in town, and I bet you I was there as a young kid all throughout the summer, probably 3, 4, 5 times a week. And I used to go to a camp for quite a few years when I was younger, at the YMCA, and that was when they had the pool up and running. And we'd be in the pool for over an hour a day. We'd be in there. So yeah, it was fun when I was a kid, but as an adult, no. Other than going on vacation or something, or oh, you're a surfer, George? I tried surfing. How old was I? Actually, when I was a kid, my grandparents took me to Hawaii. Don't ask me why, but I rented a surfboard. I talked my grandparents into renting me a surfboard. And I took, I don't know, maybe it was a 30-minute surf lesson. I had never been on a surfboard in my life. And I went out, and the waves were breaking way, way, way off, a long distance offshore. It wasn't like they were breaking, right up onto the shore. I mean, they were way out. And I went out, I paddled all the way out, and it took me a while to get out there. And I just remember, like, I tried to get up on the board a couple of times, I missed, and then I would just, lay on my stomach and ride the board a little bit, and then this one big wave came, and I freaked out, and this thing just took me. And I was underwater for what seemed like, I don't know, it might have been 30 seconds or 45 seconds, but it seemed like an hour. I didn't think I was coming up because it was all foam, and I couldn't get out of the water, But anyway, I finally came up, and I couldn't find the surfboard, and I was way out, you know what I mean? And I could still remember, to this day, as I'm telling the story, I remember the fear, because I felt like I'm like, I can't swim because the waves kept coming, and I literally, I remember the fear, and I finally made it back to the shore, and I was shaking. I just remember going and laying on my towel, and I actually fell asleep. I fell asleep for like over an hour, just laying on the beach, because it took so much out of me, and that was crazy. Hey, Anthony. All right, brother. I appreciate you stopping in, man. I appreciate it. I'm in Sussex County. Are you on the other side? Are you over in Bergen, or where are you at? What part of? I appreciate the kind words too. Thank you. Okay. Well, yeah, I was born and raised in Bayonne, actually. And then I moved up here about, I guess, a little over 20 years ago. But yeah, I was born and raised in Bayonne, worked there, and then retired in 2018. So I don't really go back there much. I don't have much there. My brother still lives there, so. But other than that. So I'm up here in Sussex now. My daughter is actually down in Cherry Hill, which is where I'm driving from right now, actually, on my way home. So. George, do I have it wrong? I thought the Hudson County, I thought that school was in Jersey City on Montgomery. Or do I have that wrong? I don't remember that being in Bayonne, to be honest with you. Good for you, Anthony. I'm glad to hear that, brother. I really am. I really am glad to hear that. There's no reason for us to, I was actually on live this morning when I was driving down to my daughter's house, and I talked a lot about that. Um, you know, we make all these excuses, and they really are excuses just to be complacent. You know what I mean? Just to be comfortable. But 54 and you're still going, good for you, man, because you're way ahead of the curve. Way ahead of the curve. And you're more, it's even more proof that you can get better with age, right? I'm tired of buying into this narrative, this bullshit that, because you're 40, because you're 50, you're supposed to be overweight, you're supposed to be taking medicine, you're supposed to have the high blood pressure, on and on and on. It's all bullshit. It's not genetics, it's not your age, it's habits. And if you change your habits, you're going to change your life for the better. So good on you, man. I'm really glad to hear that. And I appreciate you watching. And if anything I say or do helps you along or gives you a little inspiration, even better. That makes me feel even better. Yeah, Anthony, you and me both, man. I'm guilty. I'm guilty as that. Believe me, you're not alone when it comes to that, I told myself that for years, all through my 30s into my 40s, until reality slapped me in the face really hard. I always thought that I could do what I want, eat what I want, drink what I want, don't sleep. And then when things started breaking down, I said, whoa, something's not right here. I'm doing something wrong. So yeah, I mean, it might, there are guys that'll start breaking down in their 20s. Some might make it to their 30s, 40s, whatever, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I don't care what type of exercise you do. I don't care. I don't want to hear that I do CrossFit, that I do this, that I run marathons. If you're putting shit in your body, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You're going to pay the price. George, the temptation is everywhere. It is everywhere. Every place you go, it's all about the food. It's all about the snacks. It's all about the junk food. And it's a constant battle. It really is. And the truth is, most of us are gonna cave at some point. As long as it's a temporary, it's not. We don't do it consistently. I actually indulged today. A little bit of cake and probably more than I should have. But I finished up earlier today, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna fast straight through till tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, just to cleanse out a little bit. No, like I said, Anthony, it's all good. It's all good. As long as it's, that candy bar, as long as it's an occasional treat, that's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you at all, if you're doing the right thing most of the time, the majority of the time. But the problem is, most of us, we flip the script. We eat like shit, drinking the booze, doing all this stuff. And then you'll get on a kick where you say, okay, I'm going to be good. And then what? You're good for a couple of days, a week, and you go right back to what you were doing. Just don't waste your time. Don't waste your time, because it's not going to make a dent. But on the flip side, if you're being good, if you're doing the right thing, if you're getting your workouts in, if you're trying to eat mostly whole food, you want to go out and have a candy bar, a couple of beers every now and again, no harm, no foul. I believe that. I believe you could. It's everything in life, Anthony. It's no matter what you're talking about. It's the poison is always in the dose. The poison's always in the dose. And like I just said to George, though, especially today with the food, the junk food, the temptation's always there, because that's what, you walk into a supermarket and you're just bombarded with it. You watch TV, you're bombarded with pizza commercials and Applebee's and all these fast food places over and over and over. So it's a battle. You have to be strong, but you just have to keep telling yourself that, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? I'm going to cave. I'm going to do what they tell me to do and eat this stuff and think that that's normal. And like I said this morning on my live, and then what's the answer to that? When the sickness sets in, now you're on the pills, you're taking the drugs, and there again, they'll convince you that it's normal, that it's supposed to be. Your parents were diabetic, well, you're supposed to be. Your father had high blood, well, you're supposed to have high blood pressure. It's all bullshit, and I get it. For all the preaching that I do, I understand it. Like I said, I'm not standing on, like I'm above anybody or trying to preach. I'm just saying that, I came to the realization, I lived it, I did it to myself. I saw what I was doing to myself, and I came to the realization. And at some point, like I said, you're going to pay a price. You're going to pay a price. And it's too steep. You have to set your priorities. What's really important in your life? Like I just said to you guys, I'm driving home from my daughter's house with my grandson. And that's what's important to me. Back in the day, I was out drinking. I would have been hungover today. And, no way would I have been looking to go to a 1-year-old's birthday party. And now it's my life. It's what I look forward to. These are the things I look forward to. People say, well, don't you miss drinking? Don't you? No, I don't miss it. I don't. I started drinking beer in a schoolyard when I was 14 years old. And I went to town for the next 30 years. I got my fill. I don't need it anymore. I don't miss it. It would be a real sad state of affairs if I was here at 60 years old, still doing the same shit I was doing at 14 years old. So you know, is what it is. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell, Anthony. I appreciate you, brother. Stay the course. It's going to be worth it for you. I promise. I promise in the long run, it's going to be worth it. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you popping in. George, you know I appreciate you always being here, brother. Stay safe, everybody. Frankie F16, DK, everybody that was in tonight, even you people lurking in the background. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to sign off. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Get your reps in. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Thanks, guys.